For understanding the sense of touch, we definitely ought to know what we mean by saying the location of stimulus. It is nothing but the site on the body or space where the stimulus is originating. In the skin, there are intervening areas between the receptors that are not sensitive to touch. This can be known by mapping the skin millimeter by millimeter with a fine hair. Similarly, temperature sensations and pain are produced by stimulation of the skin only over the spots where the receptors for these stimuli are located. When we touch an area in the skin, the receptors near the center of the stimulus gets activated, whereas the receptors in the peripheral edge of the stimulus gets inhibited. Each receptor has something called a receptive field. So, what is receptive field? Receptive field of a receptor is that area where if we apply a stimulus, it will produce response in that particular sensory receptor. It varies for different types of receptors. Now let us try something interesting. Here is a little thing that you can try to know about the receptive field of receptors. Take two pens, pencils or something with two pointed edges. Very gently, without hurting the person, keep both of them at the same time on the back of the person with his eyes closed. Now start by keeping them very close together. Ask them how many points of touch they feel. Slowly separate the points and keep. This should be out of vision of the person. You would notice that at a distance almost less than 6.5 cm, the person will not be able to distinguish between 2 points. He will respond to your queries as he is feeling only one touch even though you are touching at 2 points. Now repeat the same exercise on the fingertip. The person would distinguish it as 2 points even within a distance as less as 0.2 cm. If the distance is very small, each caliper point is touching the receptive field of only one sensory neuron. Thus, it would be felt as only one stimulus. Now, we can understand that the receptive field of the various receptors vary at different sites of our body. Blind individuals benefit from the fact that fingertips can discriminate between 2 points at such small distances. This facilitates the ability to read Braille. The dots forming Braille symbols are separated by 2.5 mm or 0.25 cm. This is even used as a test in neurology to test the dorsal column pathway. Here is another interesting fact about touch receptors. They help you to identify similar objects by perceiving the form and nature of the object without looking at it. This ability is called stereognosis. You can get vibration sensation when a tuning fork is placed at your fingertip or bony prominences. These are all functions of the mechanoreceptors. These messages from the receptors are carried by nerve fibers to the brain through a pathway called the dorsal column pathway in the spinal cord. So, if you get a lesion in the dorsal column pathway, you can lose these abilities.